In this episode of OG 55, we were talking all about the Disney Cruise Line. There was a huge news dump today by Disney with the cruise line. Absolutely crazy. An overwhelming kind of amount of information came out regarding the cruise line. I got the Italiano with me. We're going through the news stories. We're breaking them down. We're talking about it up next on OG 55. Welcome aboard, everybody, to another episode of OG 55, your place for fantastic Disney and even rap music video reactions. This is your place for those. If you haven't seen the new Orange Nerd show where we talk about everything except the theme parks, we have a great show with Tones Poppy and Mr. Webba reacting to J. Cole and R&B Artist Friday. Really good stuff. It's out there right now. Check it out. If you're interested in that kind of music, a really, really fun time. But George, I don't want to digress too far. How you been, sir?
Doing good, not too bad. And a lot of news came out today. Whether it's I do apologize, folks. There's the hype train.
There it
is. But yeah, a lot of news came out today with land and sea. Geez Louise. With the Disney Cruise Line and some other things that are going on within the parks, but we'll definitely save that for another video for sure. But today we're taking a little trip onto the high seas with Disney Cruise Line. So you know me. I love me a good Disney cruise.
All right, let's dive into the Disney cruises. This is from our friend at Boardwalk Times. We absolutely love Zach. We met Zach at the D23 Expo a couple months ago. Fantastic guy. He's been on the show before. We love Boardwalk Times. So make sure you follow them on Twitter. They make amazing content. It says here, first story of the day. And I'm telling y'all, sit back and relax because there's a lot of Disney cruise stories today. It says here, the Disney Adventure sets sail from Singapore on December 15th, 2025. Bookings are scheduled to open to the general public on December 10th, 2024. Now, this is the ship. This is interesting. This is the ship that Disney, that more specifically Bob Chapek, this was on his watch. It was a ship in Asia. I believe the company was going out of business or whatever, and they didn't know what to do with the ship. Disney ended up buying the ship for like pennies on the dollar, and they basically just transformed it into one of their cruise ships. And this is from what I understand. You can correct me if I'm wrong, George. This will be the biggest of the fleet, if I'm not mistaken.
This is the biggest due to the fact that the ship was already pretty much huge in size, if you will. And no, ladies, don't worry. I'm not talking about myself. But yeah, that this is basically a mega ship is what they called it. And I don't think Disney kind of anticipated on making this big of a ship. But hey, 75% done. As you said, Chapek bought it pennies on a dollar. I will say this was one of the smartest moves that Chapek actually utilized his time as CEO. But actually, OG, I'm going to send you the tweet that actually has the kind of like a side-by-side of what the ship originally looked like to how then it became Disney-fied. I sent it in the X DM.
Perfect. Okay, I will actually post that right now. Give me 1 second, everybody, while I switch my screen here. Okay, so this is what it looked like before and after. This was a glow up, as the kids say. This was an absolute glow up. It looked a little tacky before, got to be honest. Or was this, because it wasn't finished yet, though. Did they get this far on it? Like, or is that like artwork? I don't know.
I don't know if it was actual artwork. It's let's see. Have an updated look at the exterior glow. Unfinished global. Now, what might have been that the exterior was completed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the inside.
The inside was what still needed work.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. This was. I'm telling you, man. Yeah. A way like Scott Gustin here says. an exterior glow up. He's absolutely correct on that. It looks way better now than before.
This is going to be part of the conversation, but if you look at what the Global Dream has, it's a different track color though. It seems like they were already implementing a roller coaster track. So from my understanding, of course, as I said, we're going to get into it. There are a few attractions that are going to be on a Disney cruise ship for the very first time. Now, I don't know if that was Disney's intention or if they just utilized it because it was like, hey, it would cost money to have it already removed again. Let's just keep it and just kind of attach an IP to it, So I think that might be why they decided to keep those attractions on the ship.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool, actually. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And speaking of the attractions, let's break that down. So it says here, Disney Adventures Marvel Landing. So that's the area that we're looking at here. Mm-hmm. Will feature Iron Cycle Test Run, Disney Cruise Line's first ever roller coaster, and soon to be longest roller coaster at sea. Other attractions will be PIM Quantum Racers and Groot Galaxy Spin. So here is some artwork. This is the Groot Spinner, which is basically like, the rocket jets or Dumbo. It's pretty cool though. I mean, look, these are pretty significant attractions for a cruise ship.
Yes.
Like these are legit rides, so this is kind of crazy. So this is the Groot ride, right? But then we got these like these Tron like kind of motorcycle Iron Man things, right? Going around the ship. This is going to be a lot of fun. Riding like that around the ship with the water is going to be a breathtaking experience.
Yeah, I could imagine what that would be like.
I'm looking forward to that. And then back here, I'm assuming is the PIM Quantum Racers, which looks like little, I guess like little Autopia cars.
Yeah, I was going to say like a speedway, kind of like go-kart kind of thing.
Yeah, so what are your thoughts on this? This is very different. I mean, I will say they are doing a lot of different stuff with these cruise lines now, trying various things, but this is very different from what
I do love how Disney is kind of stepping out of their comfort zone and kind of moving forward with like what new entertainment value they could add to these ships because, eventually by 2031, there's going to be 13 Disney cruise ships that are going to be online and with multiple destinations and itineraries and ports of call and what have you. But obviously with 13 ships, you want to have them very distinct and different from one another. You don't want to have, the same thing where Disney's constantly repeating themselves because then it's like, okay, then why are we paying that premium upcharge price to just do the same thing, but just on a different ship with a different name, So this makes it very unique and different for the Disney adventure. I do find it interesting, though, that they kind of took the route to go Marvel because the Disney Destiny, from the very beginning, we knew that it was going to be like a heroes versus villains kind of aspect to it. But then as time went on, they started implementing Marvel on that ship as well, where Black Panther is going to be the main statue in the lobby atrium. Spider-Man and the Spider-Bots are going to be on the back of the ship. So I think it's quite interesting now that there's going to be two ships that's going to implement Marvel. Yeah. No, and they should. I mean, I know some people don't like that idea. Marvel is part of the Disney family, so to speak, at this point, and why not utilize it? You know what I'm saying? Look, that's the thing. Like every Disney fan has different interests, right? So like I'm into kind of all of it, to be honest with you. Like I like the princess movies, I do, but then I can turn around and watch the MCU, and then I can turn around and watch Star Wars. I'm into like all of it kind of, but like the only thing with the Disney branding I don't really care for is like the sports stuff. I'm not like a sports guy, so I could care less about like ESPN and all that. But in terms of like these entertainment IPs and stuff, I'm cool with them all. So a lot of people though, like, hey, look, you might not be into the princesses, right? But maybe you're a huge like, Star Wars fan. Okay, so it's cool. So if they have like some Star Wars stuff on these ships, that kind of, plays to the Star Wars fans. You know what I'm saying? If you're just a Marvel head, you love the MCU and all that, hey, you got Marvel here. They have to kind of like, try to get as many people onto these ships as possible from various fandoms and what have you. You don't want to box yourself into everything being like
the same like 8 or 9 princesses. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of makes sense that they're branching out, you know. And look,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, and like I said many times before, when we were on the Disney Wish, the Marvel restaurant was very popular. People love Spider-Man over there.
Yeah.
So
so you mean to tell me that in honor of ESPN, you wouldn't want to see in the lobby atrium a statue of Tom Brady holding a deflated football?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. 100%. So this is the next story. This is again from Boardwalk Times. And I will be linking Boardwalk Times' Twitter in the description. So make sure you check them out if you have Twitter and give them a follow. But it says here, Disney Adventure will also have a new stage show called Remember. After an unexpected reboot of Eve, Wall-E will call on heroes from Coco, The Little Mermaid, and Aladdin, and other classic films to help restore his loved one through the power of music, hope, and treasured memories. What an interesting way of tying these very different IPs together.
And that's interesting that they're going the route with Wall-E, because up until this point, I mean, the movie did very well. You know, it did make it made money at the box office. It won the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature Film, but we never really saw anything be implemented with Wall-E outside that they had a little part in World of Color in the original. I can't remember if it's still part of World of Color 1, but I know it was in the original World of Color. But I like that they're kind of going a route where they're adding and implementing new characters by incorporating a different kind of storyline, where it's like, okay, yeah, they're calling on characters from like Coco, The Little Mermaid, but the fact that Wall-E and Eve are the center focus of the show.
Well, it's interesting because if memory serves me correctly, I haven't seen Wall-E in a while, so just kind of bear with me, but he used to watch Hello Dolly in that movie, didn't he?
Yes.
So it kind of makes sense. Like I'm thinking there's gonna be something like that where he's watching these movies or something, and it's somehow in the rebooting of Eve, he utilizes these films in the programming of her or something. I don't know. It's an interesting concept. It's very out there, and this could either work spectacularly or be super weird and totally fall flat. But I will say I do respect them for trying something different. You know, this isn't going to be just, okay, here's Aladdin. We're just going to tell the story of Aladdin verbatim again for the 95th time. You know, I like that they're going outside the box and thinking a little differently. This is a very unique concept. So
it really is. Now, I have a question for you. Now, I know that Disney is the only cruise liner in the industry that does fireworks. Now, I don't know what the implementations are over in Asia, if they allow like fireworks at sea or what have you. But in the concept art, you kind of see fireworks going off in the back. Do you think that that's just part of the concept art, or do you think actual fireworks would be part maybe like of the finale of the show?
It could be. I mean, it kind of looks outdoors to me. Like, because here's the stage, right? Right. I feel like this whole thing right here is where the performers are, right?
Right.
Obviously, all this back here doesn't seem like it's part of like a theater. It feels like it's like it looks like something like from like the Hollywood Bowl or something like that, some outdoor venue. Yeah. So I'm thinking this might be outdoors. I could be wrong on that, bro, but it kind of looks outdoors to me, at least from the art.
Okay.
So we'll see, because there's a clear definition between the performance area and that outside fireworks stuff. It's not like all, look, if it didn't have that square box, right? And you just had like all one behind it, like with the fireworks and like the background, I'd be like, oh, okay, it's just the theater. But if you're in a theater, why would it be segregated like that, where you have the box, right, where the performers are, and then you have this outside thing? Doesn't make sense. I feel like this is outdoors, but again, I could be wrong. I'm just speculating.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's outside for sure, because I do know a lot of cruise ships outside of Disney have like outdoor theaters and what have you. And we have to think too, this whole entire ship is going to have a lot of those features, even like when we kind of going back to like the attractions. Other cruise liners do have like roller coasters on their ships. They have like water bumper cars, on this. So a lot of they have outdoor theaters. So this ship is going to be the first for Disney Cruise Line, because this ship technically wasn't meant to be for Disney. But I think on a positive note, this allows Disney to kind of see where they can go and how to make things different for the cruise ships, because the Disney Adventure could kind of be that spearhead that moving forward with the newer ships after this, that they could say, hey, you know what, this is popular in the Asian market. Let's see if our the domestic cruise travelers like it.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. I like that storyline. It's ballsy. It's risky, but I like that. I like that they're taking a chance on something much different, So we'll see how that turns out. This looks absolutely beautiful. Really, really pretty. It says here, Hollywood Spotlight Club on the Disney Adventure will recall the traditions and glamour of the Golden Age with signature entertainment and special appearances by Mickey Mouse, Minnie, Donald Duck, and Daisy Duck. This is just a gorgeous. I mean, look at that view, man, with the wraparound window and stuff, and you have these beautiful, I guess, like LED like flowers on the ceiling. It just looks breathtaking. It kind of reminds me a little bit, to be honest with you, of that Epic Universe hotel. Remember there was that bar?
Oh, yes.
That like looked out, and then you had like these pillars, and it was gorgeous. Remember?
Yeah, it does, and it also kind of gives me the vibe like of how like the panels of the windows are looking out, because the way that it looks like this is on like a higher deck of the ship, possibly maybe in like one of the funnels or close to it. It kind of gives me the vibe of like the California Grill up on top of the Contemporary.
Yeah, it's great. It'll be I wonder if this will probably be a separate like Palo, right, where you pay.
I would
it's not like included.
So. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't know, because usually with Palo and Remy, it's more like of signature fine dining. Now I know with the Elegance it kind of throws off, but I don't know, like including like with the characters and what have you. I don't know if it would be more family friendly, or they might do it as a separate upcharge.
Yeah, it seems a little fancy, but you're right. There's characters involved, which Palo doesn't have characters and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see how they kind of approach that. There's not a whole lot of detail in regards to that. This looks really cool. Enchanted Summer Restaurant will be inspired by Tangled and Frozen on the Disney Adventure. So another restaurant. This is definitely family stuff. Really cute. You got the lanterns. You got the little sky. The little sky reminds me of, I don't know if you guys and gals at home have been to Las Vegas, but Caesar's Palace, when you're walking through like the mall part of that hotel or whatever, they have the whole ceiling is painted like that. It's really, really pretty. But anyway, go ahead, George. I do apologize.
No, you're fine, bro. I think too that this is going to be one restaurant, but I feel, being that they said it's going to be inspired by Tangled and Frozen, they probably have like two different sections. So depending on which section of the restaurant you're sitting in, you could either be in the Tangled theme or the Frozen theme.
And again, that's a different kind of approach, right? These are two very different animated films. It's not like you have a Toy Story restaurant where you have Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 2 or something. This is like you have Tangled and Frozen, two very different movies, but it's like this hybrid restaurant for both. Again, this is very interesting concepts, and I don't know if they're going to work in execution or not, because I haven't been on it. I don't know. But between this Coco show, or more like the Wall-E show, and then this, I feel like they're kind of like trying different creative things, and I do like that. It's different. It's refreshing,
It is. And really quick, being that you had mentioned the Wall-E show, I wanted to add something because it's titled Remember. They may add it into the show, but I think that would be a missed opportunity if they didn't have a Lion King sequence where Mufasa goes, "Remember who you are."
Yeah, they should. In honor of the late great James Earl Jones. I think they should. I think it'd be really, really cool. So next one is Pixar Market Restaurant on the Disney Adventure will serve buffet-style breakfast and lunch each day. At dinner, the restaurant will provide table service and wide-ranging menu as part of the signature rotation dining on board. So this is interesting. This is like a little bit of lamplight lounge on the high seas, right?
Yeah.
So does that signature, like, again, you're the cruise guy,
Yeah.
signature rotational dining, is that like Palo? Is that because it's like a signature?
So if it just said signature dining, then I would imagine that was like an upcharge. But being that it says signature rotational, that
Right.
means this is one of the usually they have 3 rotational restaurants, that this is one of 3 restaurants, probably with the frozen / tangled restaurant, and maybe the spotlight one. I that would seem like those are the 3 rotational dinings.
Interesting. It very lamplight loungy in here. It's very kind of, it has that kind of like that, the brick with the metal and that very industrial kind of look that they love to do with Pixar. But
because
again,
it does resemble, again, like how you had mentioned with Lamplight Lounge. I think like when they do this kind of overall themed restaurant tied to Pixar, they try to get it to kind of match the actual studio itself up in Emeryville,
right.
because they have that kind of that style.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. I like the style. I know a lot of fans didn't like the style. A lot of fans were complaining about Lamplight when they did that restaurant. I've always liked it. I thought it looks pretty cool. So
it separates it from the traditional like Disney animation. You know, it makes it feel like it is Pixar.
Exactly. Now I know our friend Mr. Seymour Duck. He sent us a DM in regards to this restaurant. He's excited about this one. Mike and Sully's Flavors of Asia on the Disney Adventure will have 4 distinct experiences: a full-service Japanese steakhouse, a lively teppanyaki room, a chic bar with omakase-style dining, and outdoor dining featuring sushi and sashimi. So this is pretty cool, man. This is kind of like a, I guess, like a Benihana's a little bit, maybe. You can see them cooking in front of you, things like that kind of experience, I guess. I'm down for it, dude. I am down for this. It's a little weird, though, that it's Mike and Sully's, though. And I don't see anything in here to show you that it's
in a way. I think the reason why they kind of went that route, because I thought about that and I'm thinking, yeah, why Mike and Sully's? But it kind of gives off that vibe of Harryhausen's.
No, it does.
But I mean, like, that's what I would have named it.
That's what I'm saying. So just call it Harryhausen's experience or whatever you want to call it.
Mike and Sully's, like, you know.
That's what throws me off. Yeah, it's Mike and Sully's. Like, yeah, it makes total sense as a Harryhausen's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we don't have the octopus or anything like that in here. So it's kind of a strange thing. But the restaurant itself, I love this kind of food. I'm all on board with this 100%. 1,000%. Next one. Actually, Disney needs to get a Korean barbecue place in one of these cruise ships. I don't think they have one, but this looks absolutely stunning. Oh my gosh. Disney Discovery Reef will be an outdoor hub with various quick service stops and cafes. Stitch's Ohana Grill, Bewitching Boba. Awesome. We got Boba and Bru's Ursula themed. That's kind of cool. Ursula themed with Boba because it's like little fish eggs or something, right?
Yeah.
And then Cosmic Kebabs, Miss Marvel theme. Cool stuff, man. I mean, this is really, I mean, this stuff, look, this is the thing. The Disney Adventure is stepping up the cruise line theming game. This looks good enough to be put in a theme park on land.
Yeah, it really does. And as you can kind of see by the concept art, normally like where these kind of like quick service eateries would be is usually on like the upper deck, you know, like where we got like the tacos and the pizza and the burgers and fries and everything. But if you kind of look at the concept art, you can kind of see that it's, if you look up, you could see the night sky. So it's almost like it could potentially be like on an upper deck, but yet it's kind of embedded within the ship itself.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
It's different from a Disney cruise. I know a lot of other cruise ships kind of have like that indoor-outdoor feel.
Right. And that's the cool part about this ship is that they took something that was already like, I think it was like 70% already built.
75. Yeah.
75. So you're going to have elements of stuff that Disney hasn't really done before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that's kind of cool, actually. It kind of forces them to kind of be a little bit different here. We got more concept. This looks great. This reminds me of something like out of like the Well, actually, you want me to be honest with you, and this is not a knock on this. I'm not gonna. This isn't a knock, but this reminds me of DCA 1.0. The pizza place, that where Boardwalk is now. It was Pizza Mau Mau, I think it was called, and it had literally like surfboards on the ceiling, and it had like the Thatchet lighting, and they had like burgers and stuff like that, I believe. This kind of reminds me of that, and I like it. It kind of has like also that restaurant chain, Islands, very similar to that. Do you have that in PA, Islands?
No.
Oh man, pretty good. Although I think a lot of them
have the good shit. But yeah, this is I guess themed. This is I guess like the Stitch.
The Stitch, yeah.
Ohana Grill.
Yeah, looks pretty cool. And this thing, this is kind of nice. This is Ursula. This is the Boba and Brews. So a little bit more of like a older, I think nightlifey sort of vibe with Boba. You got beer, a lot of neon, pretty cool stuff, man. I'm digging the energy here. It's Ursula, so it's like that villainous kind of vibe. Mm-hmm. What do you think? This is interesting.
I like it. Yeah, you could kind of see, like, if you look on the countertop on the left side, you could kind of see the coral, like I guess like sitting on top of the countertop, and then you got like the plants and I guess kind of like seaweed kind of thing, like draping down from the ceiling, and yeah, you got like that retro kind of purple, that just kind of like throws off that Ursula vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Just remember when you're here, everybody, that you make sure you take your selfies and you post them on Instagram. Okay.
using your shell phone.
Yes, exactly, 100%. Let me go back. There we go. Okay. San Francisco Street on the Disney Adventure will be a vibrant street market with interactive games and activities, shops, cinema, and more. Plus endearing encounters with Baymax. Yep, come on. We all love Baymax. Yeah. I do not love Baymax. This is interesting. It's called the Disney Adventure, and there's a lot of Disney California Adventure in this ship in a weird way, right?
Yeah.
Like I just said, the Stitch Ohana thing reminded me of Pizza Mau Mau. We had the Pixar restaurant that looks very similar, I think, to Lamplight. You have San Francisco Street, which is obviously very reminiscent of our San Francisco Square over here in California Adventure. There's a lot of DCA here, and it's kind of cool because the ship is called the Adventure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm digging it.
I'm digging it. I had to take a moment for a second when you said in this ship. I thought you actually said in this shit.
In this shit. Yeah, in this shit. Yeah, this looks pretty cool. I like this. Very, very, very neat. It's gonna have cinemas though, huh? Like a movie theater, I guess.
Yeah, the other Disney cruise ships do have cinemas. Now, I believe, the Wish has, I think, they have dual movie theaters called Wonderland and Neverland.
Which, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, which the other ships just usually have one, the Buena Vista Theater. But I'm curious to see, being that this is a huge jumbo ship, that this probably has almost maybe like a IMAX, theater in there probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting stuff, man. I would love to go on this ship. This looks really cool. So this is a little bit more like typical cruise line stuff here.
Yeah.
The Toy Story Place on the Disney Adventure will feature a large family pool, whirlpools, slides, splash pads, and dining options, plus outdoor screenings of Disney movies, trivia, and more. So, yeah, this is very reminiscent of like what you see on a typical cruise line with the water slides and stuff. It's okay. I don't know. I'm not super blown away by this. In conjunction with the other cool stuff, though, I think it's maybe a good variety and kind of like rounds it out a little bit. I don't know.
I really think there's not really too much that you could do with a space like this, because you just have to have like the typical pools and water slides that's tied to where you have like the big funnel vision kind of jumbotron screen that plays like the Disney movies. So I think Toy Story is a great fit because it has that toy-like quality, and there's really not much you could really do with that. So in a sense, I think like that fits perfect for something as simple as like water slides and pools.
Yes. And you mentioned with the Nemo or the underwater restaurant, it seemed like it was sunk into the ship. It was sunk into the ship, and you can kind of see outside, right? You were like in. If you see here, Yeah, I think this basically confirms it. You can see here, you can look over, and you see
Mhm.
there's like, you can look down, and there's like, I guess like rooms here.
Yeah, see, that's where it's in conjunction with like the other kind of cruise liners. They usually have indoor outdoor rooms where you have like an outdoor patio or a veranda, but when you go and step out, technically you're still indoors on the ship and you can kind of see out because it's like an inward outward kind of
Thing.
veranda, if you will.
Yeah, interesting. Disney Cruise doesn't have that, right? None of them have that right now. So that's kind of an interesting feature, I think. Um, it says here, cool news. There will be a Pizza Planet quick service restaurant on the Disney Adventure. So that is pretty cool news. Then we have here, it says Pirates of the Caribbean lounges, bars in development across Disney experiences. So we have Pirates Tavern at Magic Kingdom, the Cask and Cannon. That's a dope name. Cask and Cannon. I love that. On the Disney Destiny, and then Buccaneer Bar on the Disney Adventure. So here's some concept art with the cool little like ship anchor above. Very cool stuff here, man. With the map. Oh man, this is I love this. I love this. This is like Captain Hook vibes for sure. This one, you know, and then this one. Cool, man. Yeah, this is cool stuff. This looks really nice, actually. Okay, now we're gonna pass by all the Universal stuff because that's not what we're talking about today. So new look, Disney Adventure staterooms themed to Asgard from the Thor franchise.
Again,
Interesting
with that Marvel franchise.
It's Marvel, man. They're tapping into Marvel big time. Well, here's the thing. Our East Coast friends in Florida, they don't really get Marvel.
Yeah.
You can't get Marvel because, you know, Universal has the theme park rights to Marvel. So Disney is like, well, okay. Well, there's a loophole with the cruise lines because they operate over the ocean, I guess. It's fine.
And I'm also assuming, too, that for them to do this with a ship that's going to sell out of Singapore, I'm for sure Marvel would then have to be like big in the Asian market.
Oh, it's huge. I follow quite a few accounts from Japan. Like they do really cool influencers in Japan, and they dress up every year for like Halloween. Like, and their cosplay in Japan is like crazy good. You know what I'm saying? But when they post their pictures like around this time every year, a lot of the Japanese guests, like they go to Tokyo Disney Resort and stuff, they do wear Marvel stuff. So I think it is pretty popular. Absolutely.
And speaking of Japan, just think this is a ship that was already built, already pre-designed to be something else, and Disney-fied it, you know, to the best of their abilities of what they can do, and it looks absolutely marvelous, no pun intended. But I can't imagine what is to become of the Disney cruise ship that OLC is building literally from scratch.
Yeah, it's gonna make everything else look like, you know, that's what OLC does. They always like exceed expectations, you know. And again, you can see this indoor outdoor kind of element here, right? Which is interesting. And here's some more of it. Nice rooms, very, very nice rooms. It's Asgard, but it's not in your face Asgard. It's like subtle touches here and there, you know.
And this room actually has looks like a full outdoor, because when you look out the doors, you can see the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Kind of looks like the Clementine over there on what is it, Disney Way in Anaheim?
Yeah.
the Clementine Hotel or whatever. Okay, and actually today, kind of off topic a little bit, but today is the anniversary of Disney, of the Walt Disney Company. 101 years ago today, two brothers named Walt and Roy founded Disney Brothers Studio. Years later, the company would become the Walt Disney Company. Without these two men, it's very likely George and I would have never met. Everybody that we know, that we love in our community, our friends, you know, and our family, you know, like that we interact with every day, you know, we likely would never have came across each other.
Isn't that strange? Like, these two guys back in the early 1900s play a significant impact of what's going on today.
They're still impacting lives. Like I said, like I wouldn't have this channel. We wouldn't have met. I mean, there would be no Orange Grove 55 without these two guys. and then everything after that wouldn't have happened, right?
That is true.
It's crazy, bro. It's so freaking weird to think about it. But 101 years ago today, absolute legends, giants in the entertainment industry, Walt Disney and Roy Disney. Absolute giants.
You know what, bro? As I said, I know it's like your favorite drop, but you got to give it for Walt and Roy.
Which one? The lights?
Yeah.
Here, hold on. Here we go. All on the lights. Yeah, no, absolutely. So incredible. 101 years. I mean, think about these guys starting the studio in the early 1900s, and I mean, could they even imagine 100 years later, over 100 years later, it's still around?
It's still around, and it's growing. It's getting bigger.
It's getting bigger. Think about this too. A little tiny Disney Brothers studio, right? Over 100 years ago. On this very show, we are talking about a cruise ship that the company these two guys founded in 1901 is building today. A freaking cruise ship. And not the first one. How many have they done now?
So 5 are online right now. The Treasure will be number 6. The Adventure will be number 7. The Destiny will be number 8. The Japan ship will be number 9. And then 4 more after that.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, think about that. You have like, like maybe a dozen or more like ships. I mean, when all is said and done, and it all started with these two guys in this little tiny animation studio.
That's crazy,
bro. Blows my mind. Absolutely blows my mind. I don't know. It trips me out. We kind of touched upon this already, but we'll kind of get into a little more detail here. It says Cosmic Kebabs on the Disney Adventure will offer a flavorful menu of pitas and kebabs. Quick service restaurant will be inspired by Miss Marvel. Love it. I love food from around the different parts of the world. I like when these theme park companies kind of dip into that stuff, and it's not just always like the typical like hamburger stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is very cool. Pitas and kebabs.
And I also love too how the Disney Adventure is also allowing a lot of IP that's not really utilized a lot. Like they're utilizing Miss Marvel, which I know she is utilized in the little mini show, at the Marvel restaurant on the Disney Wish. But I mean, like she has like a quick service like named after her. Now they're going to implement Wally and Eve in a stage production show. So I do love how they're implementing different, Disney IP, that they're not used to utilizing.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And from what I heard, like, a lot of people have a lot of issues with the Marvel shows on Disney Plus, and there are issues to be had. I'm not going to deny it. But this was actually, from what I'm hearing, one of like the gems of the Marvel shows. I didn't actually see it, but I heard it was actually pretty good. And she's fantastic, absolutely fantastic, really talented young lady. And this hits close to home, George.
Absolutely.
There will be 3 dining locations inspired by Luca, fellow Italians. You know what I'm saying? On the Disney Adventure, Palo Trattoria, an Italian restaurant, Palo Cafe, a quaint coffee bar, and the Taverna Poderoso, a sports bar. So got Elsa on top of it. That's funny.
What I love what they did differently with this ship is they took one IP and they just didn't utilize it in one location. Like they have multiple locations based off of one IP.
Yeah,
and I like that. It gives variety's the spice of life.
Spice of life, absolutely. So this ship, the Adventure, looks absolutely incredible. Full-blown attractions on the upper deck. Full-blown. Like you literally have like a Tron-like roller coaster zipping around. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. I love the fact that it wasn't a Disney ship, and it forced Disney to sort of try different design elements, like that indoor-outdoor thing that we talked about. I like that. It creates a unique experience for the Disney Cruise Line. So overall, I'm excited. This is out of Singapore. So hopefully maybe one day we can all go. Hopefully. We'll see. But,
eventually I would love to, because I do want to travel the world. So, I mean, gives me an opportunity and an excuse to say, hey, yeah, let's go to Singapore.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. So, Italiano, any final thoughts before we get out of here today? Before we
I'm very
skedaddle?
excited with everything that they announced, like all that news just for one cruise ship.
Dude,
And as I
it's
said, we
crazy.
got more cruise ships along the way. And as I said earlier, if this is for a cruise ship that's sailing out of Singapore, and again, it's not really what Disney is used to doing, but because of the circumstances of what they had to do with the ship, I think they executed it very well. And again, I can't wait to see what Japan has in store for their own ship because they're paying for it. They're paying for it. They're forking out the bill. They're having Disney build it,
Right.
but they're going to literally own and operate it. And we know when they fork out the bill, money is like
No,
it's just no. It's they just sign the check.
dude, they'll have like this elaborate dark ride on there or something. Dude, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be absolutely nuts. I can't wait for it. I absolutely can't wait for it. So we'll see. We'll see. Very exciting news. Look, a lot of people, and we're going to get into Josh tomorrow because there's a lightning lane story that we're going to do a video on that isn't so positive, in my opinion. Right? There's a lot of problems with Josh tomorrow's leadership, in my opinion. Okay, but credit where it's due. You know what I'm saying? He promised turbocharging. He did. He said turbocharge. So did Bob Iger. You know, a lot of people mocked that and said, "Oh, turbocharge, yeah, right, yeah, right." They're turbocharging. Look what they're doing with the cruise ships. Look at what they're doing out here in California. Look what they're doing out in Florida. They are investing. And again, that doesn't mean you have to like every project. You could still be mad that they're removing the rivers of America, but you can't deny that they are investing heavily right now. They are going, as George says, balls to the wall. So, hey, look, credit where it's due for tomorrow. He is turbocharging.
Yeah.
So we'll see, you know, but that doesn't mean that there's no issues or nothing to critique because there absolutely is. With the lightning lane thing, we'll talk about that because there's, oh man, whole other story. But George, if you could let everybody at home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Absolutely. You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Disney George. You could also find me on Instagram and Threads under the Disney Italiano. And of course, you can find me right here on my home base at Orange Grove 55 with Citrus Corner with all that sweet, juicy, but sometimes sticky Disney news and info.
There he is. So comment down below with all your thoughts on the new elements on the new cruise ship, you know, the Disney Adventure. Do you like them? Love them? Hate them? What are your thoughts on it? I'm really optimistic about this ship, actually. I think it was a really smart move from Chapek to kind of take this on. And I think that this ship provides a lot of interesting opportunities. You know, we had a great show with Hey Bricky the other day. Obstacles into opportunities, right? The obstacle of taking a ship that's 75% done and turning that into an opportunity. I think they succeeded. I like what I see so far, but we'll see. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of OG55. We're going to end this show like we always end this show with the Queen.
Thank you for watching OG55. If you aren't already, consider becoming a member today.